Back when I was into JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, I always used to grind YBA. Short for Your Bizarre Adventure. It was a game where you could get stands, specs, and participate in 1v1s and steel ball runs. It was just a Roblox JoJo game, catered to kids my age. I would always grind the game in my free time, and I was even able to get myself to Prestige 3. I was really good at the game, and I was able to perform really good combos with my stands. Safe to say, I stopped playing the game because of how boring it got. 1 year later I was a senior in high school with many responsibilities, not having the free time to play games anymore. I was under tons of pressure, trying to find out which college I'd like to attend. I decided that the only way to relieve my stress was to revisit my favorite games. Of course, I had to play YBA. Playing the game again brought me a flood of memories. I still had my magician's red with pluck. I ran a few 1v1s and lost most of them because I forgot all the keybinds. I was about to leave and play another game until something caught my eye. It was a message in chat. It was from someone named your_pain. The message read 1v1 me. I was hesitant at first, but I knew I was gonna get off anyway, so I decided to just get it out of the way first. He was using sticky fingers and pluck. The 1v1 lasted about 2 whole minutes. He would eventually kill me. I don't know if I got him low, but I know I dealt a lot of damage on him. Once I died, I saw another message in the chat. It was from the same your_pain, and it read skill issue. I didn't really bother to care. I'm not the type of person to argue with random people online. I typed in the chat that I didn't give a shit. I couldn't bother waiting for his response, but before I could close Roblox, something flashed on my screen. It was for a good second and it was barely noticeable. The only thing I could make out was a face. I took my hands off the keyboard, waiting for something to happen. Nothing did, so I proceeded to close out Roblox. The screen froze for a few seconds, and my cursor soon became a loading symbol. This usually happens when an application crashes. The thing is, I closed it myself. The Microsoft prompt popped up asking me if I wanted to close Roblox. I clicked yes, and it took a few extra seconds to report the problem to Microsoft. Right before the Roblox application finally closed, the same face popped up again. This time I could fully identify what it was. It was a dark silhouette of a black male. He wore a smile on his face, his eyes dripping with blood, and his green teeth scared me so bad that I ran out of the room. When I came back, the picture was gone, but there was an error box with a message that said, "Your pain is my pain." It took me a few moments to realize that this was a reference to the person I was fighting in YBA. I immediately closed the error message. I was really scared and wanted to know how this was happening. I tried joining your_pain, but he had his joins off. After a few minutes of refreshing his page, he was offline. Nothing else scary really happened, so I turned off my computer and played some old games on my PS2. A few hours later, I went back on my computer to finish up an essay. When I finished booting up my computer, I realized that Chrome didn't close, so I refreshed your_pain's page. Of course, his joins were off. I decided to use a Roblox extension that lets you join anyone's games, even if their joins are off. When I joined his game, I spawned right in front of him. I immediately asked him what he was doing to my computer. He responded, saying that anybody who lost to him in a 1v1 would get a nasty virus, which would start off by scaring the user, day by day until the motherboard would finally burn. I asked him if he could stop the virus that was on my computer, but he only responded with, "Your pain is my pain." Every question I asked, he would respond with that. It eventually got annoying, but I decided to ask him one more question. I asked him what his full name was. He didn't hesitate at all, and said, "James Noel Brewington." I googled his name and saw the same image that was on my screen. People called the virus the James Noel Brewington virus. I became scared again and wanted to leave the game. As soon as I went back in Roblox I saw a message from the same your_pain. Before I could read it, however, an image flashed on my screen. It wasn't the same image as before, but I knew it was the same person. He had a pogging expression and was drooling blood. The image disappeared, but the message that your_pain sent said, "Touch the blood." When I finished reading it, the same image popped up again, but this time with a loud screaming sound that nearly broke my speakers. I was hesitant but at the same time tempted to touch the drooling blood. I indulged and soon my hands would be covered in sticky, crimson blood. Safe to say, I immediately ran to the bathroom and shut the door. I was expecting that same black pogger's face to be in the room, but when I turned the lights on it clearly wasn't. I gave a huge sigh and started washing my hands. I started to think to myself if this was real, if it was a dream. I was contemplating going back to the computer and doing a factory reset. Before I could think of anything else, I heard screaming coming from my room. I immediately started running to the computer. You wouldn't believe what I saw. On my computer, the same black male in the image was laying down on the floor with a knee on his neck. He started screaming and crying, and yelling that he can't breathe. The cop told him to stop resisting. I stood in shock as the same black male, James Noel Brewington, reached his hand out of the monitor and tried to escape. The struggle lasted for about a minute until the cop brought him back inside the monitor. James was now on the floor, unconscious and not breathing. He was later put on a stretcher and was driven away from the scene. Before he died, his last words were, "Officer please, I was just playing YBA." Before the cop left I thanked him and he gave a thumbs up. My computer reset itself right after and everything was starting to work fine. There wasn't any popping images of the same black male and I was able to play games again. 2 months passed by and I checked your_Payne's profile. It said that he was last online 2 months ago, on the day of his death. I was shocked that the same guy actually died. But I was thankful that I could finally use my computer and relax without any worries. After the incident, I never touched YBA. The only JoJo games that I would play were ones like ABD. With that being said, I hope this serves as a reminder for you all to never play YBA. No matter how tempted you are, I never want you guys to go through what I gone through that day.